that may save your life. Real talk. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your time. It's your time. It's your time. I guarantee you this, when we are done with this presentation, you won't be interested in just a business, you'll be interested in taking over a city. My name is Akindele Akinyemi. I am the President and CEO of the Global African Business Association.
Your thing.
We were started in 2014 in Eastern Michigan. I was living in Houston, Texas, and got the call from my high school friend. She said, we need to do something impactful in this African community. I came up with an idea and said to myself, we need to have a business association, but I'm not interested in hard chicken, dry green beans, and stale water. What I'm interested in is taking over a city. And that's when we launched in a city called Eastern Michigan in 2014. We are a business network and business support group. We're a one-stop shop. Period, point blank. When we started in 2014, it was only 4 of us. 2 Nigerians and 2 Gambians on a telephone call. One lived in Houston, that was myself. I was teaching middle school, getting cussed out by kids. Now, there is a rebuttal to that, but I don't have enough time to tell y'all what I did. That young lady right there, she's a realtor. She was living in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan at the time, and these 2 brothers right here were living in Detroit. We all got together on a conference call, and we started something that became the Global African Business Association. Now listen, something to think about, ladies and gentlemen, is this. A wealthy mindset is contagious. It is. Hang out with a group of like-minded individuals that will lift you up. Please don't hang out with no bums. Don't hang out with females that bring you down. Don't hang out with brothers that bring you down. Don't hang out with sisters that hang you up. Hang out with people that empower you. Your network is your net worth, as Ms. Jean said earlier. That's real talk. The facts, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to your attention that of all the CEOs at Fortune 500 companies, only 4 or 0.8% are African Americans. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Of the 614 billionaires in the U.S., only 5 are black. We have to change that right here, right now. Housing and home ownership. If you are in real estate, you need to know what I'm about to show you. The Federal Housing Administration, that's FHA. There are policies that instituted segregation for decades. That's real. 80 years ago, a federal agency called the Homeowners Loan Corporation. If you're in real estate, you need to know what that is. Historically, created residential security maps of major American cities. So if you see things in red right there, that's a process called redlining. It started 80 years ago by the federal government to keep you and I out of white communities. Guess what? Ever since the advent of the Community Reinvestment Act in the late 70s, all white folks did was change the language, and they still doing the same thing. Neighborhoods considered high risk or hazardous were redlined by lending institutions, denying them capital. The facts. Data analysis by the Pew Research Center, that's a think tank in D.C., show that 27% of black mortgage applicants were rejected in 2015 compared to 11% of white Asian Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, we at war. Real talk. African Americans are far more likely to be unbanked. That means you ain't got no traditional bank. I got an uncle today in 2021 that still puts money underneath the mattress. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. And I ain't talking about Houston either. Whereas the white population has an unbanked rate of 3%, black folks have an unbanked rate of 18%. Now listen, we know that the factors crimes and things of that nature. We know that systemic racism play a big role in this problem. However, the truth of the matter is we lack a system. We lack a system. That's the truth. Something to think about, the wealth plan for a lifetime. When you're watching television and the news and you see all these nice white folks talking about your bills and they talking about money, they're already planning their life's lifetime. Black politicians do the opposite. They plan for today. They plan, everybody else plan for life. I'm not playing. I work in politics. I know what I'm talking about. The majority plan for the weekend. Listen, it's time to rethink our strategies for the 21st century. Yes or no? Yes. Can't hear you. Yes. We're at war. We sin, we party, we pray, we thank Jesus, glory be, hallelujah, but we broke. Yes, sir. We don't have a system. If we do not change our thinking in this decade, for real, we will never catch up to the present, and we will be a permanent underclass for decades to come. How do you have a whole continent of Africa being controlled by the Chinese? How do you have a whole continent being controlled by the Turkish? How do you have black communities being ran by Indians and Arabs and other people that don't look like you here in the United States? It's not a lack of resources, it's the way we think. With no system. We have to educate, we have time to educate our community on wealth building, which is true. We've been doing that all day today, folks. We educate them on social justice. Every time somebody gets killed by a white police officer, we are burning shit down. We're protesting. We're crying. What happened? We're going to the White House begging by what the hell we begging by for? We shouldn't beg anybody with the type of wealth that we generate in this community. We should not be begging that one person that don't look like us to give us our natural born rights. Yes, sir. We educate people on vote. We educate people on all kinds of things, but we don't take the time to build a damn system. We don't take the time to think about how to create sustainability for our community. Systems are tools in which gives you full leverage over the community in which you reside. Systems are rooted in the network of business, government, and technology. Systems are running on connectivity and understanding how global dynamics work. You cannot open an African restaurant in an Arab neighborhood. You cannot open an African restaurant in an Asian community. Well, how come Asian folks and Arab folks open up things in our community? Because they understand the system. So here's some examples of building systems, ladies and gentlemen. Some people sell, well, I was saying, I'm going to get my Some people sell real estate. Some people flip property. Some people conduct property management. However, and this is important, however, the seeds of building our own system is controlling the way your zoning in your city is handled on the planning commission. That means this. If we are not, as a group of people in this room, not putting real estate brothers and sisters on our planning commission to create the zoning that's favorable in our category to build wealth so that when other brothers and sisters want to invest in commercial like this around here, which y'all call the beacon, if we're not controlling that at the planning level, we have this conversation 20 years from now. Real talk. What did GABA do? We put two people on the planning commission in 2 different cities. So we can always have our interests represented. Not just GABA, but the African and Caribbean community at large. Political power, just real quick. Black political power is rooted in social justice. It really is. Let's not lie. White political power is rooted in economic strategy. Black power is based on civil rights organizations. White political power is based on think tanks and chamber of commerce. This is how they play the game, folks. Black political power, like the lobbying system. Here's an example of that real fast. I was on DC 2 weeks ago, went to go visit a friend of mine on Capitol Hill. I asked her, I said, how many lobbyists do we have on Capitol Hill that look like us that are lobbying for economic empowerment? And she laughed at me. Now, when I go to K Street in DC, there's all white lobbyists. They control the lobbying base. Credit game. It's one thing to teach people about credit scores. We've been talking about that all day today, which is positive. But the powers that be traditionally control the credit scores to determine our credit worthiness. That's true. Black people do not own and operate a consumer reporting agency. We don't. White folks control consumer reporting agencies like Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So what's the solution? Well, here's the solution. Develop your own consumer reporting agency. Everybody knows about credit, but how many black-owned and operated credit reporting agencies, consumer agencies we have? We got to create our own system and create our own credit scoring system. All this is legal in the United States, folks. The credit scoring from our own consumer reporting agency can be used at the nearest black-owned and operated bank. What the credit score, the black bank can determine the interest rate for a mortgage, auto loan, and all this good stuff we're going to talk about. The underwriter at the black bank can use the credit score from the consumer reporting agency to determine the final criteria for the consumer, all within our own ecosystem. This, my friends, is called power. Taxes. Very few wealthy people understand the tax code. That's why we always cry about Jeff Bezos. What's the other guy in the space? Musk, everybody. Oh, they don't pay taxes. The wealthy don't pay taxes. Whatever. That's because they understand code. Real talk. A majority of low-income people have never had the U.S. tax code. So they don't understand it. Controlling our destiny. Listen. Control the tax game by controlling the vacant lots or the land or lots that's owned by you or your firm. Do I make myself clear? Let me say that one more time for those who didn't hear me in the back. Control the tax game by controlling the vacant land or lots that is owned by you or your firm. Control the tax game by lobbying for other incentives like tax. Now, if you're a real estate person, you should know about tax increment financing in your city. Tax increment financing, those are taxes that are captured. And authorities, now in Michigan, where I'm from, they call it a downtown development authority. Here in Atlanta, I think it's downtown something. It's the same thing. Or a tax increment finance authority. That's in any city, anywhere in America, where they capture taxes and build these nice, lofty development projects. And guess what? Most of the time, you're not sitting at the table. Now, for me, I learned this game not from real estate, but I used to be the chair of the Inkster Downtown Development Authority in Inkster, Michigan, and the chair of the Tax Increment Finance Authority. So I learned how these folks were coming into the city trying to play games because I learned that game right there. But if it wasn't for my GABA folks, my members who was on that board, who I was teaching them this information at the time as well, anybody could have came to the city and did what they wanted to do. If we control the balance of wealth in our community, we can lobby to create our own tax rules or code within a particular community. We've got to build our system. Listen, I preach like this all the time. We have got to stop running our communities like our black cities like community centers. Our local black communities should be centered around manufacturing, industry industrialization and sustainable industrialization. You cannot run a black community on code enforcement, license fees, churches, and nonprofit organizations. You need more. You have to build sustainable economic systems to assist your own property values, not an external source. And our city council should be running our communities like a community center. Shares of a company. Now here's another thing. We talk about diversity and inclusion, all these new words we talk about after we got our hands at least. Now everybody wants to talk about all this stuff. Some people protest corporations for forcing them to do diversity and inclusion training. Meanwhile, the powers that be purchase most of the shares to take over the company, to create new policies they see fit. Grassroots and social justice activists go to civil rights groups to sue corporations for discrimination. You see that on TV. This group sued, blah, blah, blah. They did, we protested such and such, such and such. But the board of directors asked the CEO to resign from that same company, right, with a buyout package. We're going to fire you, but we're going to slide $750,000 as the partner fee, right? And they're going to hire somebody else to do the same thing. If black folks want to be relevant in the 21st century, folks, then we need to start buying shares of the company and take them over. Let me say that one more time. If we are serious and want to be relevant in the 21st century, everybody in this room need to get together and start buying shares of companies and take them over. We don't need to protest. We don't need to cry. We don't need to preach. We just need to take the companies over. Pinpoint blank. It's not about protesting. It's about investing your shares to take over these companies. If you take over the companies, you put white folks out of business. If you put white folks out of business, they will take you seriously. Because now you're messing with money. You ain't crying no more. Wait a minute. As we're doing this, set up your own investment bank. Why do you need an investment bank? Because that investment bank is going to take care of your shares. That's the system. Globalization. White folks will tap into the global market. They do this every single day to build capacity and wealth in e-commerce, public policy, and trade. Black folks, in principle, not every black folk, mostly politicians, will not tap into the African diaspora to build capacity and wealth. Why did I put that up there? Because I talk to black politicians just about every week in Michigan about this issue. Well, I get the layout. What about the issues that's going on here in the community? Well, damn, what's going on in the hood here is going on in the hood over there too. So we need to figure out a plan to link the wealth to build capacity. Think about it. Wealth doesn't come from being the best and making the most. It just simply comes from being consistent. Let's read that again. Wealth doesn't come from being the best and making the most. It simply comes from being consistent. You can't build wealth if you're not consistent. You can't build capacity if you're not consistent. You can't even have money in your pocket if you're not doing it every single day, folks. Decentralized finance. Now, most folks know what this is. Blockchain, cryptocurrency, all these wonderful things like Bitcoin we invested in. You know, it's an emerging ecosystem of financial applications and protocols built on blockchain. Now, we know that decentralized finance will set us free. So who is now thinking about attacking? Well, they ain't thinking, they're actually researching it to try to regulate it. Bank of America, Chase. Why are these traditional banks afraid of decentralized finance? Because they know they can put them out of business. Well, when you were dealing with the fourth industrial revolution, folks, that's what it does. It disrupts the system. COVID-19 disrupted the system. A lot of us weren't ready for the system to be disrupted. Decentralized finance is no different. So we have to create our own system. Now this system up here, ladies and gentlemen, just look on this chart for 1 second. This is what we do in GABA. What we do is we take a city, let's say for instance, Inkster, Michigan, where we started. And we focus on 3 areas in that city: business, government, and technology. That's our formula. business, government, and technology. Why business? Because we want to attract international business, right? Agribusiness. We want to develop cultural arts districts, build revenue, and build capacity, and build real estate. Real talk. I throw some murals up, I put together a library, and start increasing the property values in the area. That's exactly what we did in Inkster. That's exactly what we did. See, I used to be the president of the library board there for 4 years. I led a $2 million project to build a new library, help put some murals up, the rest is history, folks. Nigeria did that. Give me some, Nigeria did. And real estate. If you're in real estate, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in real estate, we're not just talking about real estate, but we're talking about EB-5 investment visas, E2 investment visas, opportunity zones. We're talking about things, an EB-5 investment visa, you can find an investor from Jamaica or Nigeria or Ghana or the Gambia that want to invest in a low-income community and can do something like this in the Beacon, and guess what? They get a green card. Wow. That's on the books, folks. That's on the books. That's what we try to do in GABA. Then government, I want y'all to listen to this. This is how you really take over a city. I'm giving y'all a formula for free. This is how you really take over a city. Revamp the master plan. We was in Inkster, we were revamping our master plan, and they went around the whole, we was in a room like this. And they came around to us, they said, well, we want the master plan, EB-5, international housing. They said, well, why do you want an EB-5? That's because we need international investors. City broke. Why do you want international housing? To move Africans into the community so we can teach them entrepreneurship and revitalize the city. You check the master plan. You retune your zoning orders. And if you get in real estate, I can't stress enough about learning the zoning orders because that's how you play the game. You change the zoning, you win. Revitalize the city charter. City charter is like a constitution. I'm working on revitalizing a portion of the city charter right now in the city of Inkster. Now, you know why I'm doing that? Because they want to expand the number of people on the city council. So I took the lead on that because I'm making the running for myself. So I'm pretty much writing my own ticket. But I'm at the table, folks. And then technology, big data, cybersecurity, fintech, blockchain, and cloud computing. This is the formula we use in GABA to transform communities. Did I mention that GABA is, by the way, 80% women, 20% men, 53% millennium, 37% Gen Xers, 10% baby boomers. I just happened to be here today speaking on behalf of the organization, but the women are dynamic. Did I also mention that we have hubs in Michigan and Nebraska and Georgia and Texas, New York, DMV, and we have our ambassadors in Nigeria, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Mozambique. It all started with 4 people on a telephone call. What we're doing at GABA is developing our own agricultural business that will lead to sustainability and economic empowerment. One at the top is called Cruise Burgers. Go to cruiseburgers.com. Write that down. Cruiseburgers.com. That is an organic burger that was started in Detroit during the pandemic by a married couple, one from Ghana and the other from Cape Verde. And they worked very hard to get their product into the stores in Metro Detroit. Makasi juice, that's based in Omaha, but it's nationwide, and also in Uganda. And Sahara Tea, Sahara Tea is an e-commerce business by one of our logistics director in GABA. He started My Sahara Tea, not just to give out good products, but also to start raising funds for the grocery store we're trying to do in Romulus, Michigan. And that was created by our GABA International Community Market. It's a system for e-commerce, folks. E-commerce is hot. We all know that in this room, whether in terms of products and services. This is what we're working on right now. So listen, if we can learn things like financial education to benefit themselves personally, but unless we build capacity, at least to build systems, we will still have the same conversations 5 or 10 years from now. That's real talk. The powers that be have built their systems to dominate others in media, politics, economic, and faith. They got everybody over here talking about abortion and same-sex marriage, while over here they're writing bills to regulate blockchain and cryptocurrency. That's the part you don't see. I like to go over here.
Yes, sir.
Because over here is a distraction.
Yes. Yes.
But you have to learn that. Many in our community are still practicing things that resemble the 20th century.
Yep.
That's why I'm still having the same conversations. Listen, it is my hope. I flew all the way down here to join you because I believe in the African Business Club and I believe in you brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
We have been on this journey together for quite some time. We have had members, including myself, join their Zoom calls. And we are very thankful and very honored to be here. Anything we can do to support you as the Global African Business Association, we're going to support you 1,000,000%. We're going to get behind you no matter what. It's time for Africa to rise.
Yes.
And what I mean by Africa, it's time for the Caribbean to rise too. It's time for all of us to rise to the occasion. You have the capacity and the capability to mobilize and to innovate and to elevate Black people around the world. That's why I stand by you. And I thank you for having me teach at this conference. Thank you so much.